नन्दस्य जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते ताप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, let's chant Bhagavatam verses also. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Will someone repeat?
I want
yes,
to repeat.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayam Mudirayet
Tato Jayamudiraye
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki.
Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. So welcome back after a short break. And it's good that we finished the first chapter and we were not in between so that we can start again. So just a little recap. So first chapter was the questions by the sages, right? So we had 6 questions. Anyone remembers the 6 questions? Yes.
The first questions that the sages asked, what is the absolute and the
Anjali, you're breaking. You're breaking. I think your internet is a little slow. Okay, so we got your first question, Anjali. What is the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general, right? Anyone can
People
tell me
in
the second
general
one?
in this age of
Can
Kali.
I
Anyone?
tell?
Yes.
Please explain the essence of scriptures for the benefit of all living beings.
Well done. And third one?
Third is, yeah. Third is
Why did the
Lord appear in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva?
Wonderful. Fourth?
भगवान के पुरुष अवतार.
Correct. Very good. What are the adventures of the Lord? Why Purusha avatars first? Because we are talking about the material world. Before the material world is going into the material world, the Purusha avatars are necessary. And the fifth one?
भगवान के लीला अवतार.
Leela.
Very nice. And the sixth one?
Whom did the religious principles take shelter of after Krishna departed?
Excellent. So these were the 6 questions. So now in this chapter, the second chapter, which is, let me just add that open. Okay. Let me just share the screen. Can I share the screen? Am I enabled?
Yeah, Mataji, you can share. Yeah.
Okay. So the name of the second chapter is Divinity and Divine Service. So just sharing. Can you all see?
Yes, Mataji. It's coming.
Okay. So Divinity and Divine Service, right? Which is chapter 2. Now in this chapter, Suta Goswami is going to answer the first 4 questions. And in the third chapter, he will answer the next 2 questions, right? So does it mean that ho gaya khatam Bhagavatam, 6 questions puche, 6 answers mile, let's just finish and go home. Tata, bye-bye. You just have 1 canto, 3 chapters, finish Bhagavatam. What are we going to do in the next 12? Obviously, there are more questions because a person who is attached to hearing spiritual knowledge wants to hear more and more. So these 6 questions lead to more questions and more answers. Okay, so we will start with text 1. Please, anyone, whoever wishes, can unmute and repeat after me. Vyasa uvacha
व्यास उवाच
iti samprashna samhrishto
इति संप्रश्न संहृष्टो
vipranam romaharshanihi
विप्राणां रोमहर्षणिः
pratipujya vachastesham
प्रतिपूज्य वचस्तेषां
pravaktum upachakrame.
प्रवक्तुम् उपचक्रमे.
So Ugra Shrava, Suta Goswami. So Anuradha had explained this very nicely in our children's class that another name of Suta Goswami, because Roma Harshana is the father and he's also called Roma Harshana Suta. Suta is a kind of a caste. And his son is Suta Goswami and his name is Ugra Shrava. Right? So Ugra Shrava here, that is Suta Goswami, being fully satisfied by the perfect questions of the Brahmanas, thanked them and thus attempted to reply. So the sages of Naimisharanya asked Suta Goswami 6 questions, and so he is going to answer them one by one. So just a quick question. Everybody knows the story of Suta Goswami and Romaharshana Rishi and how Lord Balaram killed Romaharshana Rishi. Everyone knows? Yes, no, no. So I can see Veenu saying no, Anjali saying no. So I'm going to hand over to Anuradha because she said it beautifully in the class and she knows this. So Anuradha, please, can you please tell us?
Gist of it or the entire detailed story?
However,
Okay.
do tell me, Mataji's, you want detailed or just the gist?
Mataji detail.
See?
Detail.
Okay. Okay, let me see how far I can remember that. Hare Krishna. So thank you, Supriya Mataji, to give me this opportunity. Ugra Shava, I will start with this. Sutta Goswami is considered to be the narrator of Purans. So that's why his name is like. His original name was Ugra Shrava. So Ugra Shrava is one Sanskrit word which which has been made with two words, Ugra and Shrava. Ugra means like aggressive, and Shrava means Shravanam, that is listening. So Ugra, when added with Shrava, becomes Ugra Shrava, the one who is willing to listen more and more. So just as you all said that yes, we are willing to listen, so you are like anxious to know more and more. So that's how Ugra Shrava was. So his name was Ugra Shrava originally, and then later on when he started reciting the Puranas, he became Sutta Goswami. So he was son of Rom Harshan, and Rom Harshan was delivering his katha to the sages in Naimisharanya, where Lord Balram appeared. Lord Balram being the first expansion of Krishna, everyone, all the sages gathered there in Naimisharanya just stood up to pay obeisances to him. But Romharshan didn't get up because, see, I'll tell you the reason why later. But first of all, let me tell you. Then obviously we all know that Balaram was too much full of anger. He gets angry very fast and very quickly. So looking at that all the sages got up and paid obeisances to me, but Romharshan didn't get up to pay obeisances. So he felt insulted and he was really very angry. He just picked up a kusha grass and thrown it, and he was killed. And by doing that, he actually took revenge of his insult. But all the sages there, they prayed to Balaram that why you have done so, because Rom Harshan was sitting on the Vyas Asan. He was not supposed to get up for anybody because he's the guru there, he's the Vyas, he's the narrator of Katha. So then later on, when Balram realized that, yes, so that's another story. So how he thought that, and he prayed to all the rishis to just suggest him how, he can get over this unknowingly done sin. Then everyone suggested, like, he transferred all the knowledge from Rom Harshan to his son Ugra Shrava, and then Sutta Goswami took it over and narrated the Puranas. I don't know I did justice or not. Yeah, and that was the time when, see, Balaram was very much fond of pilgrimage. So he kept on roaming around, and by doing so, that's how he reached Naimisharanya, because in one of the pilgrimage, he was just roaming around the forest, and he just found this gathering who was listening to the kathas. So, yeah. So this is how, in the end, Balram thought to transfer all the knowledge and qualities of Rom Harshan onto Ugra Shrava, and that's how he became Sutta Goswami. And thereafter, Sutta Goswami took over and narrated the Puranas till the end of the Yajna. That is it. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you. So two things we have to learn here is the etiquette. It's very important that we must understand the etiquette, right? But now, even though Romaharshana was sitting on Vyas Asan, and there was no need for him to get up, but the Lord is the Lord, right? Lord Balaram is the spiritual master of the entire universe. So the etiquette is that Romaharshana should have got up, right? That is the etiquette. So what is our etiquette? So if we are sitting on a Vyasasana and our Guru comes, we cannot have the pride that I am sitting on the Vyasasana, my Guru has come. Who has given me the knowledge? Chakshur unmilitam yena, right? Who has opened my eyes? Om Ajnana Timirandasya, my Guru. So the etiquette is you have to stand when your Guru comes, even if you're in the Vyasasana. So to break Romaharshana's pride and to teach everybody in the future, Lord Balaram killed him. Right? Now, why was Lord Balaram going on pilgrimage? Because he did not want to take part in the Kurukshetra war. He did not want to take part. Right? He did not want to take sides. So he went on a pilgrimage. Right? So that was the reason. So now here, so let's move on to the next verse, 1.2.2. So now Suta Uvacha. So Suta Goswami is starting to speak. Yeah, anyone can unmute and repeat after me. Suta Uvacha. No one?
I think Vaishali can try. She's good at this.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. मुझे वो हिंदी वाला वर्जन देख सकती हूँ क्या मैं?
Sure.
हाँ, थैंक यू. हाँ. सुत उवाच
Yam pravrajjantam anupetam कृत्यम
यं प्रव्रजन्तं नुपेतमपेतकृत्यं
द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव
द्वैपायनो विरह कातर आजुहाव
पुत्रेति तन्मयतयात्रवोऽभिनेदुस्
पुत्रेति तन्मयतवातरवोऽभिनेदु
तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिम् आनतोऽस्मि.
तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि.
So we read the translation. Srila Suta Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the great sage Shukadev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. When he went away to take up the renounced order of life, sannyasa, he, leaving home without undergoing reformation by the sacred thread or the ceremonies observed by the higher castes, his father Vyasadeva, fearing separation from him, cried out, 'O my son, indeed, only the trees which were absorbed in the same feeling of separation echoed in response to the bereaved father.'" So before we go into this, we need to know that why did Suta Goswami run away into the forest? Why was Vyasadeva fearing separation? Right? So do you all know the story of Shukadev Goswami? You all know the story, right? He was Shuka the parrot. Yes? Anyone who doesn't know, please let me know. Okay, so everyone knows. All right, so that's wonderful. So this verse is very important because here we have a lot of things we have to delve into. So what is Suta Goswami saying here? He's saying that I offer my respectful obeisances unto the great sage Shukadev Goswami. Right, so what is he doing? The first thing. So this is actually the parampara system. So this is actually what we are supposed to do. So here we see it's like in Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Leela, it says, Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. So we have to accept the path of the Mahajans, of the authorities. So here who is the authority? Suta Goswami is giving, he's talking about Shukadev Goswami, who's the authority. So he is paying respectful obeisances to his spiritual master. And so as soon as you offer obeisances, just like we sing in the morning the Guru Ashtakam, what do we say? Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam, right? So what is Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam? I am paying my obeisances to my Guru at his lotus feet. So you offer your obeisances. So the same way, whenever you start something, before start anything, you have to offer your obeisances to the Guru, right? So normally you'll see that everybody loudly chants Srila Prabhupada's Pranati, but you don't hear us chant our own Guru's Pranati because we do it softly. Before we start, we softly do it because there are so many Gurus, right? You can't address, an assembly because everyone has different Gurus. So it is an etiquette to chant your Guru's Pranati softly, right? But it is necessary. So what is the activity of the Guru? So what is the activity? So what is the first verse of the Guru Vashtakam? Anyone remembers? First verse? Samsaradava. Yeah. Yes.
संसारदावानललिढलोका प्राणायता कारुण्यघना घनत्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणार्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम्.
So what is this? What does this describe? It describes the activities of a Guru, right? So otherwise, anyone can become a spiritual master and they say that, okay, I'm a Guru. We see so many people who are now Gurus. But you must first, what do you have to do? You have to see what are his activities. What is the Guru's activities? And whether it is the same quality, whether the Guru is bona fide to be a spiritual master. Okay, so there must be quality, there must be action. So the spiritual master's action, what is his action? He must deliver his disciple from the samsara dava anala. Anala means fire, the blazing fire of samsara. The davanala. Anala means small fire. Dava means huge fire. So if there is a fire, a barbecue fire, and a forest fire, isn't there a difference? There is. So if you say forest fire is anala, forest fire is dava anala, and the barbecue fire is anala, small. So what is the material world? What is samsara? It's a forest fire. It's huge. Nobody can deny this. Any of you can deny that there are no problems in your life? Nobody can deny this. Everyone has to go through it. So material life is a dava anala. So just like a forest fire takes place, there's rubbing of wood together, and with reason or without reason, there's a fire. No forest fire has a reason. It's just a rubbing of wood against dry leaves and grass, and there's one thing leads to the other, and it's huge. So the same way, material world, material life, also samsara, does not need a reason. It is always burning. Right? So exactly like that. So what do we need to do? We need a fire brigade. A fire brigade comes and then it tries to subside, but then again there are some places where the material fire again, the forest fire again blazes up, then they put tons and tons of water. So who is the fire brigade over here? The Guru. The Guru comes to give you not only how to subside it, but a solution for it, which is an eternal solution, the spiritual solution. No material solution is going to stop this samsara, dava anala of the material world. So just like that, we have to see that we have to see what is the action of the Guru. So for receiving God consciousness, we have to approach a Guru. Ado Guru Vashrayam. This is how to become a devotee. If you don't approach a Guru on how to become a devotee, then you're not going to get knowledge. Why will you approach a Guru and ask him, Guru Maharaj, which stocks should I put my money in? Or which school should I put my child in? No, Guru will say, put your child in, let him join the temple, because that is a true Guru. Anything you go for, the Guru will give you a spiritual solution. So that's why they say that you must always always seek devotees. A devotee should always seek a devotee, because if you seek a non-devotee, you will get a material solution. But if you seek a devotee, he will give you a spiritual solution, and that is eternal. So very, very careful. So the same way, Suta Goswami is the disciple of a bona fide spiritual master, Shukadev Goswami, and he is describing the activities. In this verse, what is he describing? He's describing the activities of his guru, Shukadev Goswami, right? And this is Yam Pravarajanta, which means describing, see over here, Pravrajantam, while going away for renounced of order of life. This is the activity of Shukadev Goswami. Yeah. So Shukadev Goswami was liberated even before he was born. How is that? Because he remained in the womb of his mother for 16 years. And he was very conscious that as soon as I come out of the womb, I'm going to be captured by Maya. So he said, I'm not going to come. I'm going to just stay inside. And then Vyasadeva kept saying, please come, please come. When are you going to come, my son? He's saying, no. Maya is going to capture me. I'm not coming. So, and what was he doing inside the womb? What was Vyasadeva doing? He was narrating the Bhagavatam, and Shukadev Goswami was listening to the Bhagavatam. So he didn't want to come out. He didn't. Just like who else was listening in the womb to Bhagavatam? Another example of a great devotee listening to Bhagavatam in the womb of his mother. Come on.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj, yes. So Prahlad Maharaj also learned Krishna consciousness in the womb of his mother, right? Narad Muni was the guru. So the activities of Shukadev Goswami is that he purposefully remained in the womb for 16 years, and as soon as he came out, what did he do? He ran to the forest. So when do we go to the forest? He went away to the forest to take up the renounced order of life. You only go to the forest when you take up sannyas, right? And before sannyas, you either from a brahmachari, you become a sannyasi, or brahmachari, then grihastha then vanaprastha ashram, then sannyasi. But let's say that he did not do grihastha and vanaprastha. So from brahmachari, he went to sannyas. But how do you become a brahmachari? You go through the sacred thread ceremony, right? It's called Upanayan. What's it called in Hindi? I don't know. That sacred thread? Janeem?
Janeem.
Yeah.
Janyo.
So that is when the spiritual master gives the Gayatri mantra, correct? Gayatri mantra is given to the disciple, and then the sacred thread is given. Then you become a brahmachari. And then you go into the forest after so many years to become a sannyasi. But here, what did Shukadev do? He came out of the womb. And how did he come out? Vyasadeva promised him that when he comes out of the womb, I will not allow Maya to affect you. I will put Maya in illusion. Vyasadeva was a literary incarnation of the Lord. So the moment Sukadev Goswami came out, the Maya could not affect him. So he ran. He said, let me run away from here. And he went to the forest. And Vyasadeva said, stop. He was running after his son. And the 16-year-old Shukadev Goswami, he was naked. He was running. He did not need any purificatory ceremonies because he was already liberated. There was no reformation required. And he, out of affection, he was saying, my dear son, where are you? Where are you? My dear son, where are you? In this word, in this verse, it's written here. putreti tan mayataya. Putreti, that is my putra. Where are you? Putreti tan mayataya. But the son didn't care. He just went away. Taravo bhinedu. He went into the forest. But who was replying? The trees were echoing. Vyasadeva was calling out, where are you? Where are you? But the Taravo bhinedus, the trees were echoing back. What were they saying? Same thing. Where are you? Where are you? Shukadev just ran. He didn't bother. He didn't bother. So Vyasadeva was so aggrieved. He was so aggrieved by this son because he had a son. Everybody now, even Vyasadeva was attached to this son. So he was like, please don't go. And then, tam sarva bhuta hridayam. Right? So, tam sarva bhuta hridayam munim anatosmi. I am offering my respectful obeisances unto the great sage Shukdev Goswami, whose activities were like that. He was so pure. He was so liberated that the only thing he knew was listening and speaking the Bhagavatam. Right? And he is like in the Navavidha Bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, he is the epitome of Kirtanam. Who's the example of Shravanam? Parikshit Maharaj. And Kirtanam is Shukadev Goswami. So immediately coming out of the mother's womb, he left home without being even having to undergo any samskara. Samskaras required for those who are impure. People like us, we need samskaras. But those who are liberated, he doesn't need it, right? So he went and then they're talking about how the sage, Anatosmi, humbly bowing down to the lotus feet of Shukadev Goswami. So Suta Goswami, just now Anuradha told us about the story of Suta Goswami, how he was a small boy. So when Shukadev Goswami was narrating the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, he heard, he was there in that assembly. He heard that and now he is going to repeat it, right? So this is how it is parampara. Now is he going to concoct anything on his own? No. He's just going to, so Shukadev Goswami learnt it from whom? Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva, Shukadev, now Suta. So Suta Goswami is going to tell all the sages in Naimisharan. Right? So any questions before we move on? Or shall we move forward? Okay, so we'll move forward. 2.3. Yasvanubhavam akhila shruti saramekam. I'll just read it. Adhyatmadipam atitirsatam tam tamondham samsarinam karunayah puranaguhyam tam vyasasunum upayami gurum muninam. It's also a very important verse. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, Shuka, the spiritual, what is that? One sec. Master of all sages, the son of Vyasadeva, who out of his great compassion for those gross materialists who struggle to cross over the darkest regions of material existence, spoke this most confidential supplement to the cream of Vedic knowledge after having personally assimilated it by experience. So this is an important verse because you need to understand these words in this verse. If you understand, you'll understand why Suta Goswami offering his obeisances to Shukadev. What is the significance of all these verses? So Suta Goswami is offering respect to his spiritual master Shukadev Goswami. So when we offer respect to the spiritual master or anyone, we have to glorify his transcendental qualities. That is glorifications. Just like we offer respect to Krishna, we glorify Krishna. So it is very important process to glorify the spiritual master, to glorify the activities of the spiritual master, what he's actually doing. That is glorification. So just now we finished Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And you must have heard a lot of glorifications, and you must have also gone through, you must have also, probably some of you must have spoken. Today we did not do the gratitude. Was someone ready with it? I completely forgot.
Oh, it was Bharti's turn, but Bharti's absent. And then the next one is Meena. Even Meena's not there.
Okay. So that is the glorification. So when you talk about gratitude, not only do you show your gratitude for the changes in you, but you're glorifying the activities of the spiritual master, of Srila Prabhupada, of the acharyas, of Mahaprabhu, of Nityanand Prabhu, and the activities they have done. So that is the glorification. What happens when you glorify? What happens when you show gratitude? You become humbler. Humility develops within you, because then you understand that that person has done so much and you have so much more to do, you know. So humility develops, and gratitude also brings prema, awakens prema. When you are appreciating someone else for what they are doing for you, you start developing love for that person. So it's very important. So that is why I like it when we have this glorification of gratitude, because slowly, as you progress in spiritual life, your gratitude also will become deeper and deeper, and your humility also will. Right. So what did Shukadev do? So here it says the word is swa anubhavam, self-assimilated or experienced. So he first of all heard from his father, Vyasdev. He heard the Srimad Bhagavatam and he realized it. Swanubhavam, right? He realized it. Not like a professional Bhagavat reciter, you know, and like there are so many in India, you know, they come, they recite the Bhagavatam, they do Bhagavat Saptaha, 18,000 verses, they come, they chant, they go, they make a business out of it, they chant, they charge lakhs and lakhs of money, but they're very artistic. They're very artistic the way they chant. But what is there any transformation? Are they able to transform the person whose house they have gone? Have they even been able to turn one person into Krishna consciousness? No. So that is the test. You know, if you are not self-realized, if you are not Swanubhavam, then you cannot preach Bhagavatam. You need to be realized. It is not something like you just take it from here and go. It's not math. It's not science. You know, it is not just you just read it here and just do it there. You have to realize. When you realize it, only then can there be a transformation in the other person's heart, because there is transformation in your heart. Only when you experience, for example, if you don't know what pain is, can you describe what pain is? No, you don't. If you haven't gone through it, you can only probably, you know, kind of sympathize. But empathy comes when you've experienced it, right? So the same way, if you are not realized, then you cannot preach. It will not be effective. Therefore, there's this thing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's secretary was Swarup Damodar. So he recommended, I'll just read the verse, Bhagavata Poragiya Bhagavata Sthani. That is, if you want to read Srimad Bhagavatam, you must approach a person who is living the life of a Bhagavat. Right? If you cannot preach what you don't practice. I think you all know the story about, there was this child who used to eat a lot of sweets, and the mother used to say, have you heard the story? No? Okay, I'll just quickly tell you. Mothers say, don't eat sweets, don't eat sweets. The child would never listen. So they used to go to meet the sadhu. So she went to the sadhu and said, please, can you tell my child to stop eating sweets because his teeth is getting spoiled? So the sadhu said, come back in a month. So next month she went, and then the sadhu called the boy and said, look, don't eat sweets, okay? It's not good for you. So the boy said, okay. And he's promised that he'd stop eating sweets. So the mother said, why did you take 1 month? Sadhu said, look, I love sweets myself. So I cannot tell him something which I don't follow myself. So this whole month, I stopped eating sweets. And then now I can tell him. So that is a sadhu. He does not preach what he doesn't practice. So the same way, if you want to be realized in Bhagavad, you have to learn from a realized Bhagavad, right? So here there is another verse called Shruti Saram Ekam, right? Shruti Saram Ekam. If you see over here, Saram Ekam, cream. What is this? This Bhagavatam is the Shruti Saram, just like cream. When you churn milk, when you boil milk, you get cream, right? Or you leave it, you just get cream on top. That is the essence of milk. There can be liters and liters of milk, but what is the essence of it? It's the cream. So if you churn it, then from that you will get butter, you will get cream, you get so many things from it. Then from butter you get ghee, and then, but if you just leave milk as is, are you going to get all these things? No. So the same way, Bhagavatam also, you have to go deeper, you have to take out the cream. Bhagavatam is the cream of all the Vedas. Shruti Saram Ekam. Yeah, and that is intelligence, right? So if you have milk, you take out the cream, from the cream you take out butter, from the butter you make ghee. That is intelligence. That is what intelligent women do in India, right? In Western, there is no concept of cream and ghee, and nobody does it at home. No, it's bought outside. Milk is taken, bought. Sometimes it spoils in the fridge and they throw it. Is that intelligence? No, it is not. When you use something to its maximum, that is intelligence. So the Vedas are like the desired tree, right? Nigama kalpataror, galitam phalam. And what is the cream of all this? We learned in the first chapter is the cream is the Bhagavatam. So Shruti Saram Ekam. So he is self-realized in this Shruti Saram Ekam. He has taken out the cream. It's not the Shukadev Goswami does not know the Vedas, Puranas and everything. He knows everything. But he is perfect in Bhagavatam. Right? So why don't we read all the Vedas? So there are so many, the Vedas. First there was Atharva Veda. Then Vyasadeva divided it into 4. Rig, Sama, Atharva and Yajur. So you have Ayurveda, you have Dhanurveda. There are so many Vedas. You don't need to go through all of that. We don't need that because all that is material studies. Dhanurveda, is it spiritual? No, Dhanurveda means learning how to shoot an arrow. It's not necessary, right? So you need to take what is necessary for you and leave the rest. So when you make paneer, you take the paneer and leave the water. Right? You don't take the water. So I'm sure some of you also use the water, but it's just a byproduct. It's not of great use. What is the greatest use is the paneer. So that is what is the Bhagavatam, the cream of all the. So there's Srila Prabhupada gives the story of one Englishman. He talks about how all this Shruti, so the reason, the story is because Shruti. Why are the Vedas and all this called Shruti? Because they learned by sound. Those days, nothing was learned by writing down and, sitting down and memorizing or reading it again and again. You speak it once, it was heard, and it was memorized. They were so intelligent. I'm not even saying this about 5,000 years ago, even up to about 50 or 100 years ago, this still was happening, that there are gurukuls in South India, in Banaras and all, where I have seen gurukuls where the child would sit with their teacher and then keep on repeating the verses after the teacher and hear only by sound. So what Srila Prabhupada says is, you do not need to be illiterate to know all this. Illiterate is fine because you know all this by sound. So there is this example or a story which Srila Prabhupada gives about how intelligent Brahmanas are. Because Brahmana is supposed to be the head of the Lord, right? Lord Vishnu's head. Because they are so intelligent. So there was one Englishman who chastised another Indian man, and he was calling him all names, and he was calling him a rascal, a fool, and this, that, and all. So this Indian man went to the court and complained. He said that this man has insulted me so much in public. So the judge says, where is the witness? Do you have any witness that you were insulted in public by this man, what he said? So the man said, yes, there was, it happened by the riverside, and there was a Brahmin who was taking a bath in the river. So the Brahmin was called to the court. So the Brahmin said, so they asked him, did you hear what was said? Do you know what was said? Are you witness? He said, look, I don't know what was said. I don't even understand what the person said, but I can tell you what he said. So he just repeated all the filthy words the Englishman spoke, and he just repeated it. He said, I don't understand what he said, but this is what he said. And he said, damn, rascal, fool, everything. So the judge was surprised. So Srila Prabhupada is, that is a Brahmin, because a Brahmin hears by sound. So here, Shruti Saram Ekam. So all the Shrutis, the Vedas are called the Shrutis. Why? Because they are taught, or they transferred, knowledge is transferred by sound. So the spiritual master over here is called Shrotriyam. Where is it here? Okay, it's not here. Okay, so spiritual master is called Shrotriyam. Why? Because he has learned the Shrutis. Okay, so, and then there is another thing over here, Adhyatma Deepam. You see this? Adhyatma Deepam. Ati Tirshatam. Adhyatma Deepam means just like Atma, the soul, is within the body. But due to the darkness of knowledge and insufficient knowledge, we cannot understand Atma, right? We can't understand Atma. So we have to first understand what is the soul. Then we have to understand the super soul, Paramatma. So what is Adhyatma Deepam? Deepam means light, lamp. Ati Tirshatam. So just like light, let me just go to Ati Tirshitam word. Where is that? Desiring to overcome. So just like light is required for a person who goes through darkness. Now supposing you have a light, right? You have a torch in your hand and you're going through a tunnel. Or if you're going in a train, it's broad daylight, but the moment you enter a tunnel, what happens? It becomes dark. Immediately the lights are switched on. Whether you go in a car, whether you go in a train, immediately lights are switched on. If you have a torch and you're entering a tunnel, you immediately switch on the light, right? So the same thing is that in this material world, which is full of darkness, so what are you going to do? You cannot understand God. So who switches on the light? The spiritual master. So that's what he's saying over here. He's saying Shukadev Goswami, who was self-assimilated, who was Shruti Saram Ekam, and who is now giving Adhyatma Deepam Ati Tirshitam, desiring to overcome the darkness of material world He didn't want to be overcome by it. What did he do? This tama andam, deeply dark material existence. This is again darkness. So, is there darkness in the spiritual world? Is there? No. Anyone knows any reference from Bhagavad Gita? Think. न तद् भासयते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यत् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Okay, so there is no shashank and there is no surya. There is no moonlight, there is no sunlight. Okay, why? Because it is self-effulgent. Darkness is only there in the material world. There is no darkness in the spiritual world. There are two meanings to it. One is physical light and one is ignorance. Both are not there in the spiritual world. So tad yat gatvana nivartante. When we go there, we don't come back. Tad dham paramam mama. So the description of tad dham paramam mama. My dham, Krishna says, tad dham paramam mama. It's the highest. Na shashanko na suryo. No moon, no sunlight. So all this brilliant sun which we see over here. Yeah. So where do we get the sunlight from? Why do we have the sunlight? There is no other world which needs lighting. No spiritual world needs lighting. But God is so kind that He's given this, our universe, this material universe, the sun. You see the brilliant sun, that is His kindness. Out of His kindness is giving it. The sun, we all know, is described as the eye of a planet, of all the planets. It's an eye. One eye is of the Virat Roop, the description of the Virat Roop. One eye is the sun and the other eye is the moon. That gives you, in the night time also, we have some light, which is the moonlight. Without sunlight, can you see? Can you see anything without sunlight? One day it's covered by dark clouds and you feel, itna andhera ho gaya bahar. Don't we say? Itna andhera ho gaya. Right? So a lot of people, foolish people say, can you show me God? But do you have the eyes to see God? You can't even see the sun. You can't even see the sun. Can anyone look at the sun directly without getting burned? You can't see the sun and you want to see God. People argue unnecessarily. Show me God. Where is God? Do you have the eyes to see God? So one who is sober thinks that, why are we put into this darkness? Why are we ignorance? We require light. So why should I remain in darkness? How can I get out of darkness? If there is a power failure in your house, will you keep sitting or you will think, how do I get light? Is there a candle? Is there a torch? Shall I switch on my mobile torch? We all want light, right? Can we stay except for sleeping in the night? Till the time we say, acha neend aa gayi hai, good night, till we want to close our eyes, we have the lights on, right? Now, science has progressed that we have electricity and all. That also comes from where? Krishna has been so kind to give us that, right? So we have to understand all this. So the Vedas, what does it say? Vedic, they say, Tamasi ma jyotirgama. Don't remain in darkness. Just go out into the light. So this is called Ati Tirshatam, which means get out, desiring to overcome this Tama Andam. Shukadev also says over here that he is Karunayaha, out of compassion for people who are suffering. Again, quality of a spiritual master. Karunya, out of causeless mercy. So he's glorifying his spiritual master. He's saying he is Swanubhavam, he is Akhila Shruti Saram, he is Adhyatma Deepam, he is Tama Andam. So he takes out all the materialistic men from the Tama Andam. He is Karunya. Why? Because all the Puranas, all the Guhyam, confidential knowledge, he is giving us. That is again the quality of a spiritual master. No spiritual master will say, no, today I don't feel like giving you any knowledge, please go away. No. Anytime you approach a guru or any sannyasi or any devotee, they will tell you something to do to uplift you spiritually. Right? So he says, let me offer my obeisances. Gurum Munina. Munina means, Gurum, Munina means thoughtful, or Muni means sage. What is the actual meaning of Muni? Muni means a person who is intelligent, who's thoughtful, who is a philosopher, who can absorb, assimilate, and give his realization. That's a Muni. So this is all the qualities Suta Goswami is talking about. You will find all this in this purport, what I've spoken. We'll go to the next verse and we'll stop here, because this is the important one. So this is how we start every time. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Very important. So we are receiving this in a parampara, in a step by step, from Narayana, from Krishna instructed Vyasadeva, to Brahma, then Brahma instructed Narad. So if you see in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the book Bhagavad Gita as it is, there is full parampara giving of Brahma Madhav Gaudiya, parampara. So from Krishna to Lord Brahma to Narad Muni to all the different, there's Shukadev Goswami, Suta Goswami, so many. It'll all come down to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Baldev Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, then Jagannath Baldev Goswami Maharaj, Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then Srila Prabhupada. You'll see the full parampara. So you can just go through that. And I suggest that you go to Gaudiya Vaishnava history in ISKCON Desire Tree and read the biography of all these Vaishnavacharyas, at least in the parampara given. And from that you can branch out and read a little more. So all these are instructed. So first we have to offer respect to Krishna, and then we offer respect to what given over here in detail, Saraswati, goddess of learning, and then Vyasadeva, and then that's how we start. Why? Because we have to show our gratitude. Without taking the blessings, it's not possible to progress. Yeah. And then of course you have to pay obeisances to your spiritual master. That's why we chant the full parampara. So Om Ajnanatirmirandasya is to the Guru, Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam is to Rupa Goswami, then Vandeham is to the 6 Goswamis, to Krishna, to Radharani, then to all the Vaishnavas, to Panchatattva, Srila Prabhupada, your Guru. So all that you have to do before you start anything. Before you start your japa, before you start your Bhagavatam, reading, anything, worship. This is very important Because only when you take mercy from them can all the anarthas be removed from your heart. Right. So we'll stop here and maybe we can take some questions if there are any.
Can we have the cameras on if possible?
Okay, no questions, which is a good sign.
It was beautiful.
It was a little philosophy, right, today? Yeah, it's important to understand these glorifications and parampara and why. It's important. These two verses are quite deep verses.
Need to read the entire purports first. I do
You
at
need
least.
to. Yes, you need to. You need to understand the words, you know. There's so much deep meaning in every verse. So you need to understand why is Sutta Goswami mentioning all these activities. You know, because what happens is we tend to sometimes take things very lightly. You know, unless you don't know the greatness of a person, you will not surrender so much. That Sambandha Gyan is not only for Sambandha of Krishna, it's also the Sambandha of Krishna's devotees. You need Sambandha Gyan with them also. You know, you need to know, just like you need to know about Krishna and Radharani, Srimati Radharani, you need to know about the Vaishnava Acharyas also. You know, that's why it's important that you read about all the Acharyas, you know what they're doing for you. So that's nice. Okay, so that's good. Anyone, any comment, anything else you want to say? Or
Mataji, what you asked that ISKCON Desire Tree, where will we get that?
Vaishnava?
What was the title?
So the
Gaudiya Vaishnava.
Gaudiya history, yeah. In ISKCON Desire Tree, you go to Gaudiya history, or if you type Gaudiya history where ISKCON Desire Tree, then it will give you a link. So what normally me and Prabhu used to do, of course, now we've become a little busy with our different classes. So every night before sleeping, we used to read the biography of one Acharya and then sleep. So we used to go in order, like A, B, C. There's so many, you know. So we used to just keep reading that and sleep. So it gives you a lot of inspiration, so much inspiration. So if you don't want to do that, and also by reading that, we come to know the different associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the names, and who they were in the Krishna Leela, who are they in the Gaur Leela. If you don't want to do that, you can start off with the names you know already, like the 6 Goswamis, or you know, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baladev Vidyabhushan, and the trio, which is Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and Shyamanand Pandit. These three are very, very important. You must do that. So these are the things you must read. These are the Vaishnava Acharyas you must read. You know, so start with the 6 Goswamis, then go to these three. Then you go to Narottam Das, Baladev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Then you can read Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, there are such big volumes of his biography. Then there are so many books. Then you'll be inspired to read their books. You'll be inspired to sing their songs. Narottam Das Thakur has so many songs, you know. So we must At least start with these things. You know, when you start meditating on the acharyas, then you automatically get their mercy. Very important. You can then slowly move on to other people, Swarup Damodar. Then you get to read about Haridas Thakur and so many. I mean, it's endless.
Mataji, ideally, what is the minimum time that all devotees should read? Baby steps to get further. Shravanam and reading is very important.
Important that you fix every day. You start off with, at least, if you're not a reader, like I know many people don't like to read. I'm a voracious reader from childhood. I used to read a book a day even as a child, you know, even like when I was 8-year-old and 9-year-old, my brother and I both had the habit of, we would go to the library. So we used to take books. So I love reading. So for me, 2 hours, 3 hours is not a big deal. I can stay up the whole night and read also if I want to. Because I'm used to that from childhood. But if you are not a voracious reader, but I still suggest you must read something every day. And you can start with 15 minutes and take it up to half an hour. And as you go ahead, you must start increasing. Just like japa increases when taste increases, reading will increase when taste increases. Hearing is good. Reading is also necessary. You can hear a class, but when you read, it's even more assimilating. So if you are not a reader, 15, start with 15, increase to half an hour, but stick to that. But you cannot say that I will read only once a week or twice a week. You have to have a habit of picking up and reading something once a day. That is my suggestion. If you really, really love Krishna, if you really want to get out of this material world, you have to make an effort. You know, sometimes I kick myself. मुझे 10 साल लग गए ये समझने में कि I'm wasting time. 10 साल ऐसे ही चले गए. 10 years of Krishna consciousness I've lost because I took it lightly. I don't know how many more years I'm going to live. We are all rushing towards death. We all are. Please believe it. Believe it. We are all rushing towards death. Start. If you are not a voracious reader, I suggest you have to do something every day. Listening to class is not enough. Not enough. You must read. And if you cannot read anything else, if you don't feel like reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, I suggest the best is to read about Gaudiya history. All the acharyas. You will enjoy it. You will love it. And then from there, you will get a taste for reading Bhagavatam and the purports. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya doesn't matter, does not mean only Bhagavatam. You can also read about the Bhagavats, the acharyas, because it is like Bhagavatam. See, there are so many things to do. Every time you progress, I'm telling you, Krishna consciousness is not easy. So therefore, take it up seriously, because once you become serious, I was discussing with my Prabhu yesterday, every time we reach a goal, the bar is raised higher. Every time the bar just keeps raised higher and higher. I'll tell you, for example, we were reading, we of course now gotten into a habit of reading Bhagavatam, and we're starting Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then every time there's something else coming up. You know, Guru Maharaj says, you must read Sri Rupa Goswami's and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's books. I'm like, but we've just started with Bhagavatam, we just started with Chaitanya Charitamrita. No, you have to read that also. Okay, we read that also. And then The other day we were listening to class. All these years we were like, chant your 16 rounds. We were chanting our 16 rounds. And suddenly someone comes and says, chanting is best in Brahma Muhurat. I said, chalo, we'll start in Brahma Muhurat. Then now someone else comes and says, chanting, finishing your chanting before Brahma Muhurat is even better. So there is no end. What I'm trying to say is, basically, you have to train your mind to be disciplined. What is Diksha? What is having a guru? What is being a disciple? Is to be disciplined.
Dalwa diya. And the
It
rain
is to be disciplined. Yes.
Yeah.
If you are not disciplined, you cannot be a disciple. You cannot be a disciple if you are not disciplined. The basics are 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds. Yes. No problem with that. You have to do that. But if you want to get out of Maya's clutches, because she's very, very strong, she's Krishna's energy, you have to read, no? Start with 15 minutes or half an hour. Those of you who love to read, I'm sure can take out more time. And why am I telling you Gaudiya history is because we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. They're just one pages each of each, life history, biography. It's just one page. You will enjoy it so much, and then you will start linking them with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then you will start knowing, oh, this, oh, he is that, oh, he is this. You know, many times in classes, you just hear names, right? And you wonder, who is he? Abhiram Thakur. Who is he? Oh, he was Sudam in her Krishna Leela. Oh, okay. It's just names for you. But when you read about him, you will know more about him. You know, Gopal Guru, who was he? So once you start reading, you'll understand. I really suggest reading every day. Every day. So like I said last time also, you have 24 hours a day. You have to divide it into 8, 8, and 8. 8 hours for your daily bodily activities. Sleeping, bathing, eating, whatever. 8 hours, not all together, spread out. It's not like you in that 8 hours only you will do all these things. Spread out. So 8 hours for that. 8 hours for your material life. Cleaning the house, going for work, going outside, buying things. And 8 hours for spiritual activity. In those 8 hours, you must do your 16 rounds of chanting. You must listen to a lecture. You must read. You must do some Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. You must do your deity worship. You must sing some bhajan, kirtan, whatever. Cooking also comes in that. That is, if you're cooking for the Lord, it should come in that. So try to make your life so packed with spiritual activities that you don't have time to scroll through your Insta reels or your YouTube shorts, because it's very easy. Karte gaye. Oh my God, 2 hours gone, 1 hour gone. How many of you have actually experienced that? I'm putting up my hand because I have done that. I have done that. I do that. And until I really consciously said, I'm not going to do it. I just put my phone in another place, and only when I finish my reading, I go touch my phone.
Yeah, I do that now.
I do that.
No WhatsApp before 10 o'clock.
I lie down in my bed and I'm YouTube shorts, because Insta mein to jati nahi hu. Facebook to I don't know when was the last time I just go to like something, because some people are very particular. They send me a message saying, I put my photo, you didn't like it. I said, okay, I'll like it now. So I just go and like it. I don't know when was the last time I posted anything on Facebook. So I'm there on YouTube Shorts. Ja rahe. And suddenly I realized, oh my God, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I've been doing this from 2 o'clock, lying down on my bed. I could have, in those 2 hours, I could have done 16 rounds. Couldn't I? But even once did I think of picking up my beads? What is that? And sometimes I tell you, my phone can read my mind. I think Maya, this camera is there, no? Maya Devi is looking at me through that camera. She can read my mind. She only puts those things which I like in those shots.
Oh, there is a whole department that is sitting.
That's artificial intelligence.
It is, I mean, it is
You
designed
won't believe
that way.
it. Anuradha, I know it is artificial intelligence and I know that they look at loops and they also show you things what you talk about also, right?
Yeah.
Like you say
Yeah.
Colgate 10 times. You say Colgate,
They give
Colgate,
you
Colgate,
suggestions.
you get a Colgate ad.
Yes.
Yes. But just the other day I was thinking, I wasn't even speaking. Was thinking that so many years ago I used to watch this serial called Charmed. Has any of you seen Charmed? It's about these witches. Witches as in like Harry Potter, hep witches, and not those ugly witches. Charmed. And I was not even talking. I was just thinking, that was a nice serial. The next day it showed up on my shorts.
Oh, oh God, that's spooky.
I didn't even search for it. I didn't search for it. I did not even speak. I did not say anything. It was just in my mind.
Oh my God, this is
That's
scary.
Scary.
This is my
So
takeaway
I'm like,
from today's class.
who is following me on my
Leave
phone?
internet.
So then my Prabhu says, okay, then think about Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Goswami. Think about that. Let's see if something comes up like that. So I said, okay, let's have an experiment. So I was thinking about, the story of Swarup Damodar and, there's a pastime of Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami because whoever, so the thing was Swarup Damodar was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's very close associate. He was Lalita Sakhi in Krishna Leela and he was so perfect and he was so learned that whoever wrote anything, any verses, any Sanskrit would first go to Swarup Damodar. If he approved, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would read it. So when Rupa Goswami wrote it, it went to Swarup Damodar Prabhu and then to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Swarup Damodar loved that. This is that pastime between Rupa Goswami and Swarup Damodar. So I was thinking about that. And then a few days later, I was listening to class and this pastime was mentioned. So then I realized that, there is something going on. What you desire actually comes. What you desire actually comes. It is not.
This is beyond artificial intelligence.
Oh my God.
No. And then I was listening in that same lecture, that Prabhu was mentioning, that see all these Vedas, all these Bhagavatam, Puranas, they're not books, they're personalities. So if you even see, there is mention about the 4 Vedas, offering obeisances to the Lord. Have you seen the picture of that? The 4 Vedas are offering obeisance to the Lord in the avatar of Hayagriva. So Hayagriva is supposed to be an incarnation of the Lord where he blesses you with knowledge. So the photo is of the 4 Vedas offering obeisances to the Lord. So all these, in the spiritual world, everyone is a personality. So even if the Damodar Leela, the milk boiling on the stove, The milk also is a personality. The pot is also a personality. Everyone is a personality. So Bhagavatam is also a personality. Vedas also, Puranas also, they are all persons, they are all people. We look at them in a book form. They appeared, but actually they are personalities. So according to your desire, these personalities reveal knowledge to you. So if someone who is Jnani is reading a Bhagavatam, then the personalities will not reveal bhakti to him. You understand? Bhakti is only revealed to those devotees who want bhakti, who are coming in a bhakti parampara. Otherwise, it's not. That's why we have to go through authentic parampara. If you go through someone else, let's say you're going through a Advaitavadi or a impersonalist, Mayavadi. See, Mayavadis is what we call them. They are actually Advaitavadis. We call them Mayavadis. Okay. Bhagavatam does not reveal bhakti to them. It does not reveal because they approach it in Mayavadi. So the way you approach is how they are revealed. If you have an intense desire to learn about Raganuga Bhakti, the personalities will reveal the way. It will get you those books and a Bhagavad to teach you that. If you really have the desire for Raganuga Bhakti, which is what we all are aiming for, right? Our whole thing is to go to Bhav Bhakti. And it has to be from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, where you get Bhav Bhakti. And then Prema, which of course you don't get in this body. You have to take another body for Prema. So if you don't read, if you don't approach these personalities and you don't approach them and you don't read, how are they going to reveal it to you? How? Sure, Hema. Hare Krishna. So think about it. Think about what I said today. Try to meditate on what this means to you. How much you want the Lord to reveal to you. What do you want from it? You're doing Bhagavatam, right? Try to do it on a daily basis. Read it on a daily basis. There's no one going to stop you if you go ahead and read it. Go ahead. Please read it. Go ahead. If I had to wait for someone to give me class, you think you're going to finish 12 cantos in this lifetime? No. You think you're ever going to finish? Then you have Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Then you have Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Have you all done Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? You haven't done Nectar of Devotion?
No. We are only at Bhagavad Gita.
Instruction? Also not.
No.
Nectar of Instruction.
NOI, NOD not done.
There's so many things, right? You have to start on your own. Bhakti Shastri is also another thing you all can do. In that NOI, Ishwan Upanishad and NOD will be covered along with Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Then you have Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is super, super sweet. Oh my God. So sweet. Nectar from first. If you Bhagavatam is nectar, that is super nectar. Nectar in honey. Then you have Chaitanya Bhagavat, then you have Chaitanya Mangal, then you have so many things. Please start reading. Start reading. If you have any doubts, you can always message me and Vishaka Mataji. You can always clear your doubts. But start reading. How many of you love reading? See? 4, come on, already so many. So
Some
you
extent.
all can easily start off with half an hour and increase to 1 hour. And then there'll be a time where you don't want to put the books down. I wait for my Prabhu to go to work. Bye. Okay, bye. Go, bye. Let me just spend my time reading. He knows that. He knows it. He'll come back in the afternoon and ask me, what did you read today? So
Thank you. That was very inspiring and motivating. I'm sure everybody is feeling the same.
Yes, please do. If you have any doubts, reach out to any senior devotee. They will always clear your doubts. Yeah, but just move ahead, start reading. Yeah, don't wait. There's no point of waiting. There's so much you have to do.
And guard those desires and those intentions.
Guard those desires. Yes.
Because internet is waiting to grab you. All your desires manifest.
Yeah.
My God, it's so
Yeah, try to reduce your internet time unless you're reading. See, unfortunately here I don't have my books, which is all in India. So I have to rely on gadgets. I have to read on my iPad or my laptop, even though I don't enjoy it. But now I've got used to it because I can't wait for my books, right? I have to just keep going on. So just use that. All the books are available. You don't need to go and buy them unless you really want to. Just start reading.
Yeah, on Veda base, everything is there.
Yep, everything is there. You can start. Try, like I said, Gaudiya history. Really nice. Go ahead and one a day. Maybe next time you all can tell me what all you read.
Yeah, I think we can start that along with gratitude. Any
Yes.
one line on what caught our attention from what we read.
Yes,
Can I?
absolutely.
Once a week.
Or if you're reading Gaudiya history, then you can tell us whom you read about and what you liked about. But try to read every day. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. See you. Hare Bol.
Panchakalpatarubhascha kripasindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
See you all
Krishna.
next time.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.